Ladies and gentlemen, the one, the only, Nicole Matthews joins us now. Nicole, how are you doing?
Hello.
I'm about to run down the hundreds of matches you're about to have over the next couple of days, if you'll let me.
I'm already sore thinking about it all, honestly, but
Well, let's start. Saturday, you've got Smash Wrestling's Northern Tournament in London. Your match starts against Eliza Hall. That's a 6 p.m. bell time. We'll tell everyone where they can get all their tickets and whatnot a little later on. 25th, that's on Sunday morning. You've got a match against Alexia Nicole for the Femme Fatale Championship. That's a match that I'm personally looking forward to. And then that afternoon, you're in a four-way match at Defy versus Progress for the Defy Women's Championship. Bert Vixen, Alley Catch, Session Moth Martina, and Nicole Matthews. I would be sore too. So I think this is a fun time for you, isn't it?
yeah, I'm trying to play catch up from the last 5 years. Just going straight for it. But no, I'm looking forward to all the matches this weekend, though. I think they'll all be fun. The Saturday, the Northern show was Smash against Liza Hall, who I have wrestled a lot. She's a BC girl as well, and I've helped. I've been there since the beginning of her career, so we've wrestled each other a punch. But I'm excited for other people to see what she can do, because I think she's still a relatively unknown name at this point, but she shouldn't be. And then, the Alexia Nicole match, first time matchup. How weird is that, right? We've both been around for how long? So really looking forward to that. And four ways are always a fun time.
Are you driving right now? Is this?
I'm not driving. I'm the passenger.
Okay. All right.
My husband's driving.
All right. Well, just want to make sure you're safe while you're trying to do this.
Imagine. Yeah, don't take enough risks in the ring, so I thought maybe I'd drive and do a podcast. Why not, right?
Just set up your phone on one of those gimmicks that holds it, and then just drive and do the podcast. Go for
it. Yeah, you're really paying attention to the road that way, right?
Peek behind the curtain, Marty Garner. He did his interview sitting in the driver's seat of his car. So.
My God!
It's happening.
He was driving at the end of it. Yes. We could see the road moving behind him. By the end of it, he was driving. So.
I'm not that much of a risk taker. I'm too much of a play by the rules type of person in real life. So.
Well, I mean, one rule that you guys seem to have kind of ditched is the idea that your home has to be in one place all the time. Talk to me about van life, because I don't know about y'all, but like I said this to Jeremy earlier. During the pandemic, all of my favorite travel vloggers, YouTubers, they all bought vans and they all started going around country. What prompted this?
Well, basically that, like watching a lot of podcasts a lot of vlogs and stuff online on YouTube. It was funny because like I wanted to get a van for a while and my husband wanted to get a van for a while, but we had never talked about it with each other for some reason. And then like one day I was just like on Craigslist or whatever, and I was like, what do you think of van life or getting a van? He's like, I've been wanting to do that forever. So we both were like parallel thinking getting the van. So we just were like, yeah, why not? Let's do it. It's been great. The Ram Todd was coming up. There we go.
Can you go say hi to my parents? Can you go say hi to my parents while you're going to Ottawa, please?
Yeah. It's been great, and it's made wrestling road trips really fun. Obviously, we don't have our van with us right now because we had to fly across the country, but all the West Coast shows have been such a good time. Because, just living in our van, it's like, okay, good night, everybody. And we just hop in and fall asleep. It's great. And we don't have to argue about who's DD either, because we can both have a few.
So, I mean, what is the most, like, prized possession or the most important thing to have in the van at that point?
Well, the bed is super comfy. So we got really lucky with the van we got. So I would say that is probably number one. Not to get gross, but having somewhere to relieve yourself is also very important. And we also have that. So I think if you have those two things, you're good to go. Have a good cooler, have a comfy bed, have somewhere to go to do your business, and you're good to go.
Any challenges with the van life? Like, I kind of miss this, or I wish I had this in this moment.
Challenges, I don't know. It's been pretty good, honestly. I guess like maybe if we're somewhere where it's a little dusty or a little sandy, that getting into the bed sometimes and figuring that out and trying to clean our feet before we come in. I think that'd be the number one. I don't know. It's been honestly like not to brag, but it's been pretty awesome. Life's been good.
Brag
There we
away.
go.
You're having a good time.
Nicole Matthews recommends every wrestler just live the van life and don't worry about the hotels or any of this moving forward. Just go full van life. Every wrestler out there.
Yeah, exactly. Promoters will love you too, except it's a gas guzzler. So what they would pay for a hotel, get them to pay you in trans. So
there you go.
Because you'll need that.
As we start to shift towards wrestling, because of course we got to talk about the wrestling.
Oh, I guess.
Listen, I could do van life all day. That's just what I want. Who controls the music when y'all are driving? Is it the person driving or is it the passenger?
Okay, so we have this. We're both very much creatures of routine. So we actually have the same CD going over and over and over and over again. It's Dance Hall Crashers. It's a live performance CD of Dance Hall Crashers. It's a great road trip CD. And once in a while we'll switch it up and put on a podcast or something like that. So it's a collaborative effort, I would say. I know we have pretty similar taste in music, so it's not too tough to concede if the other person wants to control it.
All right, I will switch to wrestling now. You wrestled on Dynamite earlier this year against Jade Cargill. I know it was a short match, but how did that come about? What was that experience like?
The experience was great. I came up just, I think, how everyone's AEW experiences come up. Got an email from Sean Dean, who's their extras coordinator, and didn't know I was doing that until day of. Like, it wasn't like I was prepped on that. I got there and they're like, I'm pretty sure you're wrestling Jade. I'm like, oh, okay, cool. That works. Then I saw Taya backstage and Taya backstage. And I was like, oh, maybe not. Maybe I'm just doing like something else because I assumed she was the surprise. But then, how it worked out was pretty cool, though. I thought that was a really clever way to debut her, to have like a red herring as someone else, and then she's the actual Canadian surprise. But yeah, it didn't really. It wasn't like I knew months in advance or anything like that. I just found out the day of, so that was pretty cool.
Were you at all clued in about Taya's debut, or you said you saw her backstage, but like going out there, no idea?
Well, going out there, yeah. Like once it was like figured out and confirmed what I was doing, I was like looped in, but I kind of put two and two together when I saw her backstage. I'm like, who's going to be the big Canadian surprise? Me or Taya?
Did you get any feedback from anybody? Again, I know it was short, but did you get any feedback from anybody as far as working on the television style?
Not really, because it was quite short, like you said, and the focus was definitely on the post-match stuff. But everyone was super friendly, and it was a super good time. And it was really nice to catch up with like old friends and stuff, like Ruby and Tony and Soraya and like all the girls that I've wrestled in the past or been in locker rooms with the past. So like that was awesome. It was honestly a really positive, fun experience overall. I got way too comfortable too quickly, like I always do in those type of situations, so I was just joking around immediately and hanging out with my friends and stuff. So, slight right. Yeah. So it was, it was a great experience overall. It was super friendly backstage. I really enjoyed it.
Last time I saw you wrestle, believe it or not, was another all-women's show called The Summit. And this was in 2019. You had a match against Nicole Savoy for the Shimmer title. Talking about that match, there were certain things that happened, and also what's changed in Nicole Matthews over the last 4 years.
I really like that match. I guess Nicole Savoy is always a really fun person to wrestle, and she's just super athletic and has like a different style than a lot of people do. So it's always fun to work off that. Going into the match, I did a spiel where I was going to steal the Shimmer title, basically, and never come back to Chicago or the United States with it. Because, you know, I don't know if anyone knows this, but I wasn't allowed in the United States for a bit there. But, you know, luckily, now that that's been resolved, I'm allowed back in. So that's changed in the last 4 years, I suppose. Yeah, no, that match was awesome. And it was, like, again, it's always a fun time, and it's, yeah, I don't really know what else to say about it. It was just a really good match and a really fun time.
What have you? You know how they sometimes say that you go away, you learn a new hold, and you come back. So what are the new holds? What is Nicole Matthews doing in the ring differently so many years later?
Oh, that's a good question. So in the last few years, ever since all the drama happened in like 2018, I really focused on like the school that we run and like training and stuff like that, and training other people. But the thing about training other people is that you learn a lot when you're training other people. So I think I'm better technically than I've ever been, honestly, and I'm trying to adapt a little more of a mat-based style right now. And so that's probably changed. I think people would be surprised that I'm not just being a loudmouth bitch when I'm wrestling right now, that I'm trying to do new stuff still, even though I'm 17 years in. And I've recently started doing moonsaults, so I think that's a big development. You know, that's worth noting, I think.
I want to talk about Defy. You've been going to Defy for a while now, and that's always, anytime we talk to independent wrestlers, they're always putting over Defy and how big it is on that coast. But you've also been going to DPW, which has really taken off on the East Coast. Is there do you feel similar vibes between, I know it's two different coasts, but do you feel similar vibes between those two, or are they different but still, you know, both really fun in what they bring to the table?
I think they are quite similar in the way that, so I think right now, a lot of like kind of super indies maybe kind of look like each other quite a bit, right? Where it's like, if you can see this show in this city and that show in this city, and they have similar talent and similar vibes. But I think both Defy and DPW have done a really good job of bringing people in, obviously, to like for names, but really focusing on local talent. And really, you know, bringing up the area and really featuring that. So like Defy, you know, with the Vancouver and the Washington and Oregon wrestlers, like they'll have a lot of local wrestlers that you may not have heard of if you are just like an AEW TV watcher, for example, or you just watch like AEW or ROH or whatever. And I think DPW is doing the same thing, and they have a lot of, I was really impressed, honestly, with everything about the shows. Like the people who organize it are very professional, and they're very well done, and the production's amazing on DPW and Defy. And and I just really appreciate how both focus on their local talent, and I think that makes them feel different, and it kind of has that territory vibe, right? And I think that that's really awesome.
I want to get your thoughts on something that superstar Shane Hawk from IWS in Montreal said. He recently said that the American independents are the indies on easy mode. You're a Canadian. You're traveling across the border. You want to get your thoughts? Do you agree? Do you disagree? Stir the pot, please.
Okay, so, well, honestly, the only American promotions I've done since I've been back in the States are West Coast shows and DPW. So I almost think like Defy and DPW in particular are kind of the exception to the rule a little bit, where they do, I don't know how to explain it, but okay, it is easier to be an American to do American indies than be Canadian. Obviously it is. There's no denying that. But, you know, Vancouver or West Coast has been very lucky to have Defy be so supportive of the Canadian wrestling scene. So we're very lucky out here in that way. But yeah, of course it's harder for Canadians to break through. And Canadians do have to work like twice as hard. And they have to, you know, go through 10 times the amount of admin and like all that and barriers and all that stuff, right? So in that way, I completely agree with him. But on the West Coast, we are lucky that we do have Defy being very supportive of especially the Vancouver scene and like our school, like Lionsgate Dojo. like a lot of people who come out of our school get regularly featured in Defy. So they are getting exposure, but like if we didn't have Defy out here or out in the West Coast, we'd be screwed for sure. So we're very lucky to have that.
You've done a lot of work with Love Pro Wrestling, and
yes.
we're pals with Spencer Love. So very
cool.
hard hitting question here. Please say something mean about Spencer Love.
That is tough. Okay, I'm gonna be vicious here, guys. I'm gonna be mean. Sometimes he talks a little too much after intermission, going into the next match.
There we go.
Hard hitting, I know. Very below the belt. It's vicious. I'm sorry, Spencer, if you're listening to this, but he just cares too much about hyping up the crowd.
Just bury that.
I gotta give him a time cue out there. Get him out of there. He's not.
Well, I'm sometimes back there warming up, and I'm like, "Come on, dude! Like I did the squats a while ago. Get me out of there." And he's like too nice to the crowd. He tells them how good they are and stuff. I'm like, "Come on, don't stroke their egos too much,"
So he's a liar, is what you're saying as well.
Well, of course, I say that. I'm like, "Oh, wrestling fans, like, boo,"
You get him a big vaudeville hook for when he starts playing that game. Anyway.
Totally. I sometimes I'm like, play my music. Just play my music.
We had, as we start to wind down, we had Jody Threat on the show on Wednesday, and we were talking to her about Girls Next Door and about her match against Allie Catch. And I also got to ask her a little bit about being in an all-women's dressing room for an all-women's show, because those things are not super duper common these days. You also had the experience. We mentioned the Summit, and of course you've had experience with other women's shows. What's the vibe like? What's the difference? Talk to me about that.
It's so funny. It's definitely going to feel like a throwback to Shimmer, which always will make me smile and make me happy. But just at Defy the other week, so we had the Defy locker room is like a few different rooms and like a hallway, basically, like backstage. So one of the smaller rooms, the girls took over. So it was me, Allie, Vert, Vixen, and Shaz and McKenzie. So it was the four of us, and like we were, just like kind of having a gossipy good time, like how like the girls do. And then we were just like, it smells so much better back here when it's just girls. So that's one huge difference, is that you can't beat the smell, because everyone, obviously we all have body odor, but we take care of it, and we bring like body spray and deodorant and wet wipes and all this. I don't know what the dudes do, and they never wash their gear. So all the girls wash our gear at least. So that's always a good thing, and it's always very positive. It's always like very encouraging, and so it's definitely a slightly different vibe, but mostly the smell, I would say, would be the biggest difference.
Oh, that's such a great headline for me. I appreciate that. Nicole Matthews' women's locker room just smells much better than the men's locker room.
Yeah, if you want to summarize it, you can say like girls rule, boys drool, if that will help you out a little bit.
Nicole, you've shared the ring with a lot of people who have hit very hard, but who has hit you the hardest?
Ooh. That's a good question. I'm trying to think. Who's hit me the hardest? You know what? There's just so many. Like we all hit each other hard. That's the thing. I find, it's funny. It probably goes against the stereotype a bit, but I find like girls wrestlers, we hit harder than dudes a lot of the time. Hit each other harder, right? So I've gotten more complaints from guys for me being stiff than from girls. And I've done a lot of intergender matches. So, it's we all just kind of, because we want to look good, right? So we all hit each other. I'm trying to think. I want to give a good answer, though. Hamada hit pretty hard, I think. I don't know. I don't really have a great answer, honestly. I think we all just kind of smack each other pretty decently. So, but I like that. Like maybe that's why I don't remember, because I never think of it as a negative when I get hit hard, unless it's on the jaw or something, right? But I like that snug style, as I'm sure my opponents can tell you as well. So I can't really think of anyone in particular.
was gonna say when you're stuck on that, when you just say none of them because I hit the hardest.
Well, probably, honestly. It's like when you're like, who's the one who's late all the time? And you're just like, oh, I can't think of anyone. You're like, oh, it's me. That's why, because I'm always late. It's the same thing, maybe.
By the way, Love Wrestling is here. And whoops.
Yeah, buried hard, Spencer.
That's right.
Buried you. Take that.
He did say, he said, to be honest, if it's from her, I probably earned it. So I don't think he realized that I completely baited you with the question of just bury Spencer Love.
I was just like coming out of nowhere. Like, this guy, Spencer Love, let me tell you something about him.
Well, Nicole, we want to thank you so much for joining us. This weekend is a busy one for you. Like I said, Saturday, June 24th, Smash Wrestling's Northern Tournament. Your face off against Liza Hall. That's at 6 p.m. And by the way, fans, if you buy a VIP ticket, you get an in-ring picture taken with Nicole. She'll be part of a fan Q&A as well. You get ringside seating, collector's ticket, a trading card. That's all for the 24th. On the 25th, that's Sunday morning at 11:30 a.m., Girls Next Door at the Rec Room in Toronto. She's going to face Alexia Nicole for the Femme Fatale Championship. And then later that afternoon, Defy versus Progress, 3 p.m. Eastern, four-way match for the Defy Women's Championship. Bert Vixen, Ali Catch, Cessin Martina, and Nicole Matthews. Did I miss anything?
I don't think so. Basically, I'm walking in with no belts, but coming out with 2 belts is what you're saying. Yeah. Double champ Nikki over here.
Looking forward to watching you raid those belts in the big van. Thank you so much. Plug your stuff as we get out of here, please.
You can find me at nmatthewsninja on both Twitter and Instagram. And check out Lionsgate Dojo Instagram and Twitters as well. That's where I spend most of my time when I'm in BC.
Nicole Matthews, thank you so much. Good luck this weekend. I look forward to seeing you definitely on Sunday morning.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Nicole.
Bye.